So that's the Grand Prix 3D car. That's where we're at. We've got a gearbox on now. Hello, this is BJ from Hearns Hobbies, and welcome to part 13 of the Grand Prix 3D build, which I'm up to engine and gearbox. So if you saw the previous build, we were working on gearbox, which I've got here. This has got some of the V2, which is the current parts used. So the gearbox housings, I think, were different. It was mainly refinements to make everything fit together and make sure the tolerances were better than the original. So the details I have already screwed onto the sides, and we'll just go to the next step, which is the attaching of the gearbox. So what we've got here, that's actually the new V2 instructions. So these are the addendums. All right, so if we go back here, so this is the part where we're up to. This is all the details on the side of the gearbox. Move to the next stage, which is attaching the gearbox. So I need a couple of these screws. So we've got M2x14s and 12s. So I think these ones here. All right, so we go to the next step. All right, so we're going to partially insert two of the 14mm. They angle downwards. Okay, so these are these ones here, the longer ones. All right, so those holes need to be opened up a little bit. Let's get our trusty pin vise ready. Let's clear it up a bit. Try that again. No. Am I using the right size bit? Actually, I should be using the thicker bit. Let's change that over. Because where parts are going to be clamped together, you don't actually want the thread biting into this component. You want this to actually slide so it gets that clamping action. All right, so we'll just open that a little bit. All right, so that's better. All right, so we've got our screws that are pressing in all the way now. All right, so we've got that. Okay, and then we want the 12mm until they just protrude. Okay, so I may have to drill these out a bit as well. Just opening up the holes a bit. These can go in. Okay, so that one's just protruding. And that one's just protruding. Okay, so now we are going to position the gearbox and the engine bay as shown and slide the right side CVT shafts together. Okay. Let's make sure we got this the right way around. So basically you want the CVs, so we've got the CVs hanging off the hubs here. So we want to match those up so you can get the drive. All right, so that's one side. And then we'll do the other side. Okay, so you got your CVs all joined up now. And then we'll press this together. So we've got the gearbox aligned. What am I doing wrong here? Oh, there we go. Just need a little bit of gentle persuasion. Okay, so it's all mated together now. There's no gaps. Okay, so we're going to secure the top. Leave them a little bit loose. And then you do the bottom. Okay, so start tightening up these screws. Do the bottom ones. Okay, that's in. And now we'll do the final tighten up of the top ones. Just checking this bottom one here. All right, so we've got our gearbox in place. Okay, so next we're going to do checking of the drivetrain. Okay, so rotate both the rear disc brakes, same direction, so that the whole gearbox rotates. Yep, but that sounds a bit crunchy, doesn't it? Okay, so what's the issue here? Okay, let's pull it apart and see what the go is. Looks like the pinion gear is slipping on the diff. It's probably got to do with the meshing of those two. Let's see how we're going to fix that. Alright, so that's spinning as I'm doing this. Shouldn't be an issue. But it's jamming up as I try to press it together. Alright. So let's just try and tighten it up again. Alright, I'm going to take it all the way off and see why we have this slipping issue. I may have to do with some shims that I'll put into the diff pinion gear. But with all this off, it did feel pretty smooth before. Okay, so you can see there where it's slipping. So we'll need to put some shims in there. Okay, so how do I get to that? That is... Okay, so I'm going to dismantle this diff. Alright, so I'm going to take off all these side panels. These side panels are probably hiding the assembly screws. I can't really remember actually. Okay, so we've got this one clamp type fitting here, two screws here that are holding it together. Okay, so we've got that apart. Hopefully this comes apart like so. Alright, what's the easiest way of doing that? Okay, so that comes apart. Alright, so I need to shim this closer inside. Actually feels like a bit of play there. I've got the wrong bearings in here. Maybe some new bearings for this. So let's pop in a shim. Okay, let's see if there's any better. All right, got that clamped. Okay, feels a bit better. Let me see, once we screw this up, the tension's all up nicely and tightly. All right, I'm going to lock it up just by holding these gears here. We'll see if this diff still slips. Actually, it doesn't slip anymore, so I think I'll fix that. Just tighten that up just a touch more. A bit more tension. All right, still smooth. Rotates. Okay, and then we'll slip. Okay, hopefully that's all good. We'll put that all back together. All right, so I'm just going to screw back together the side panel to this gearbox. All right, feels pretty good. Screw this back on. All right, so we'll prepare this again. Have these screws just protruding. Same with these top ones. I have a feeling that one of these wasn't screwing in very far, so let's have a look at how much room there is here. Well, should be right. All right, let's try again. I should feed these drive shafts back in. There's one side. And the other side. All right, that sounds better. There's no slipping anymore. So it's just a little adjustment that helped with that. Still a bit rough because these are printed gears. They need to be run in. Okay, let's screw it up. Alright, I've got a slipping problem again. Alright, so this is jamming up as we're screwing this together. See what happens if I screw the top back. Pull it tight. Okay. Right, there's a possibility that the pinion may be rubbing against this crown wheel. Let's loosen it off and see what happens. Alright, so that feels better once it's all loose. Alright, so there's a good possibility that pinion gear is rubbing against something. Alright, let's get that out. I'm not sure if that's actually rubbing, but it could be. There's a mark there, or it could be a print mark. Not too sure. Let's have a look. Now just put the gearbox in again without worrying about the drive shafts. We're only going to be checking the mesh here. And I'll see how close that pinion gets to that. The diff crown. That all seems fine. This will probably benefit from a bit of running in. Looks like if I over tighten these gearbox screws, it'll start binding. Alright, so let's just pop these drive shafts in again. And we have it all put together. Okay, so that's all loose. It's rotating, but at times it's catching. Maybe just a run-in thing. And you can see as I'm doing that, it does catch at points, and then it's okay. Slipping. And then it's okay. Well, for the moment, I think I'll just put it together like this, and we'll look a bit closely into it when we get it going, I think. And we'll spend a bit more time troubleshooting this. Okay. At least it does sound better than before. Okay, this is timed out. Let's just fix this. All right, so we're back here. Check the gearbox drivetrain. Okay. Okay, so we're going to skip over there. We're going to move on to the gearbox covers, but I think we're pretty much out of time for this particular session. So we haven't done a lot. We've got the gearbox on now, so that's fully screwed in. The drive shafts, or the CVDs, have been placed into their sliding shafts, so that's all ready to go. We've got our suspension is all working, or the drive shafts moving as well. Still got some gearbox parts exposed here, but I think that's going to come with next session, where we're going to start building those covers, and then the supports for the exhaust pipes as well. So that's where we're at. We've got a gearbox on now, and we've got a working gearbox as well, although we do have a little bit of problem that we're going to have to fix. It's got a little bit of binding happening. So that's the Grand Prix 3D car, and thank you for joining me.